Well, Gaffer, it's off to Salford this weekend. They've still got an outside chance of making the playoffs in League Two. Are you expecting a more open game?
Yeah, it's tough to say. You know, they're going to be watching us. We'll be watching them, doing some analysis, and yeah, it could be cagey as well for both teams. I'm sure both teams want to win the game. We definitely do, and as you say, you know, Carl's done a great job there this season. There was a lot of pressure on him going in and taking the job last year. It hasn't quite clicked, you know, like people thought it would with all the Man United connections, and yeah, they're probably finding out how tough it is to be in the professional leagues, you know. So they've had a good season. They've got some good players. We've got to be at it tomorrow, tomorrow and Saturday, because we know what we can do. We've got to earn the right to play. But hopefully, I'll see some more of what I saw the other night. And I was really impressed with the Tuesday night affair. And yeah, we're going there to win. As I say, I don't know how to draw or lose games, and never go out to do that. We're going to go and hopefully bring some points home from Salford.
It's fair to say you've got the same squad available as of Tuesday. I think Armani Little is at least eligible.
Yeah, Armani's suspension's up now, which is great. You know, he's an experienced player in the team and adds a bit of a calmness, a bit of leadership for us, you know, so he's great. Bradley's not far away now, you know, had a little issue and I think he's getting over that now. And yeah, as you say, it's no knocks from Tuesday, which was really good. You know, I'm quite impressed with robustness so far of the players. You know, we've changed training, and sometimes the intensity, people pick up little things. You know, the training pitches as well. You know, this time of year can be quite bobbly because changing of seasons. So, you know, really happy that we've got a squad to pick from that we have.
I appreciate you're not one to single out individuals, but Glenn Morris made his 100th appearance for the club midweek. Sort of like a fine wine, gets better with age. Is he kind of, if you're looking for a role model, he's probably up there as an absolute consummate pro?
Yeah, I mean, Glenn's been there, done it, got the T-shirt, you know, in football, and I think he's 600 plus probably, and 100 for Gillingham, which is for any club, you know, is a really good achievement. So you know, to acknowledge that is the right thing to do, you know. He would have loved to win, I know that, you know, and he's like I say, he's been brilliant since I walked in the door, you know, real calm. Almost what you see on the pitch is what he is as a person, calmness and assuredness, you know, and he has a good experience to that back line that we have, you know, quite young or middle 20s that you know, they've got energy, they've got enthusiasm, they probably need a little bit of direction and leadership, and Glenn's that solid one behind them all. So yeah, great for him, but I'm sure he's like me, we'll be saying his career's nowhere near ended yet. Goalkeepers can go on for a long time, can't they? So he's definitely done well for me so far, and yeah, really pleased to be the manager when he made his 100th.
Lovely. Gaffer, thanks ever so much. Matt, all yours.
Just a quick look back on the calendar Tuesday night. Fan reception has been universally great, I think, as to what you put on the pitch. How pleased are you, in retrospect, having analysed what you did? Yeah,
we've analysed, honestly, it goes well like that sometimes, and it was putting the finishing touch on what was a great, classy performance by some players, and if we could have scored one or two, I think we could have gone on to being a convincing win in that game. But listen, as I said in midweek, it's one game in you know, my first two where I think Harrogate was a real battle. The wind, the pitch, there's two extremes there. Tuesday night was a very nice night, good pitch, a team that came to play against us, we played against them. Football's crazy, it really is, you know, and the opposition are always trying to stop you what you're trying to do. I'm sure Carl will be looking at us thinking, you know, okay, they try and play a bit, you know, they've got some key strengths, but he'll also be targeting what he thinks he can get at, and that's what we've got to do to them. So it's great to look at it, but there's no way these boys can rest on any laurels. I'm not going to say that's great, boys, we're there, we've made it, not a chance. We must keep that consistent performance level up there, you know. The intensity was there, the great composure on the ball, everything but that final piece of the jigsaw, you know, just to put the ball in the back of the net. And but the signs are great, you know. It's not like I've walked in and there's two games and I'm thinking, wow, where am I going to get my first win from? This is a team I can work with. This is a team that have got a good spirit. bit of direction needed, great staff around me. Yeah, the journey has begun, and hopefully we can see many more performances like we did Tuesday night.
Well, these players have had to take this on board in a short period of time, and that's
Yeah.
going to happen the next week or so as well for you, isn't it?
Also, we always keep things in house, and how we train in that, and it's messages that I'm really impressed that the boys have taken on, because we haven't had a chance to work on it on the pitch. And when I get a pre-season, when I get to work, after another window, you'll see even more and more of an identity. But it's difficult. I've been here 1 week now, and to say the identity is crazy. Nowhere near. They know what it is, and I think they're getting to know what I feel and what I'm about. They know what Dobbo's about, yeah, they're a very receptive bunch, intelligent bunch. Definitely some diamonds, some rough diamonds to polish here, and there's going to be chops and changes without a doubt. That's football. But yeah, first impression is really good.
I suppose a whole week with them would be a luxury at this point.
Well, we're all 5 weeks, and then it's 2 months without them, isn't it? So we've got to make sure that we're consistent in our behaviour, and we do. That's my big thing, is that people belong here. You're consistent. They know what they're getting every day. And ultimately, if I'm wrong, then I'll get dealt with from upstairs without a doubt. But I believe in what I do, and I'll do it day in, day out, and be that consistent person. For me, it's got results over my managerial career. And I was lucky enough to play as well in some good teams, and so bringing a bit of that and trying to give it to the players and telling them what they can be and how to be that. It's really important. And yeah, a good bunch. And yeah, we're looking forward to getting stuck into Salford Saturday now.
And your opponents, what are the specific challenges that you're looking at with them?
Yeah, they've changed formation last 2 games. They're quite fluid in what they do. You watch them and you think, actually, what formation are they playing? Sometimes, they're very adaptable to that. Obviously, Cole Stockton was a serial goal scorer a couple of years ago in League One, and so he's always going to be a threat. You have to look at him. And Tilt at the back, very experienced, a lot of games under his belt, so a couple of leaders there. But they've got a typical way of playing that Carl Robinson likes to do, and without giving too much away, we've come across each other many times, and we'll have a beer after the game without a doubt. But Carl will know that for 90 minutes or 95 or 6 minutes nowadays, isn't it? I'll be just wanting a Gills win, more than anything in the world, and that's football, that's what we are. But be a good trip up there. The boys travel well together, and hopefully we can get this unbeaten run going.
He's an animated figure, a bit like yourself in the technical areas. I suppose Danny Cowley, much the same.
Yeah, very, very much the same. So they haven't got my energy, to tell you that.
Are there particular things you're looking to do in the next couple of weeks with the team, or even for the rest of the season? You talked about some basic principles and energy, but is there something that you can see that you need to tweak in a positive way? Yeah,
do you know what? We're working constantly on connecting the boys and making sure that when we go around, there's specific times we go around, specific players we'll talk to, and we're always on it. It's almost like we dip in and dip out, but it's a constant change, and it's a constant sort of journey we all want to get on, and at the start, at the end, at Wycombe, it was great. It almost ran itself, and it was almost like, wow, we are so proud of this. I felt a bit fraud sometimes, because I'm thinking, I'm not doing much here, but what you put in place over the years, it starts running itself. And I think that's, when I speak to successful managers, they say, no, that's what you've done, that's what you've made, so be proud of that. And we're way off that, but we're starting the process now of getting the boys to think for themselves and work out problems for themselves, and adapt to different styles, different challenges. And they're a good group, they really are. And I think the modern society, with the social media, the mobile phones, the very insular times that people, you can sit around a table and 6 people will be sat on a table, nobody is speaking, they're all looking at their phones. We're trying to open that up and make them teammates, and make them, we don't want to change them as people, but just make them aware that what's out there, what they could be, and what opportunities come around. So no, we're constantly working on the culture. I've come here to change the culture. I've come here to change what Gillingham was and has been for a couple of years, which I don't think has been. It's not been terrible, but it's not been what they could be. And so I'm here to hopefully get them that.
And you talked to, I think when you arrived, a bit about the bond with supporters as well.
Yeah.
Not just you with the fans, but the team as well. I mean, I felt like you were quite touched on Tuesday with the last waltz before and after the game.
Yeah, do you know, that will always be a supporters game, this, you know, football, and it has got lost a little bit, maybe at the top end, you know, and but it will always be about the supporters. It will always be, your football clubs are about your supporters. The reason we play football in front of crowds is because we love to play football in front of crowds. It's not the money, it's not the trophies, we just love playing for and hearing that passion of the supporters behind us. That's why I did it. I only ever wanted to run out in a stadium full of people who were there with one goal with me, to get behind the team and make the team successful. It's the best feeling in the world, you know. So if I can mention to the players about how much it means to the fans now and again, then I'll certainly not neglect doing that, because they need to know that when you put that shirt on, there's thousands of people that would love to put it on. So do it justice, get out there, give it everything, because you never know, you know, in football it's a crazy world. No, the fans are everything in football, and you know, I'm really, really pleased to be here, really pleased for that reaction on Tuesday night, and I will get the supporters and the fans connected. I want the players to go over and clap them at the end of games, and not win, lose or draw, be proud, because we've given everything. They've travelled miles, they've got work tomorrow morning, they've come, go and clap them, go and applaud them, and sometimes it's hard, believe me. I've been there, and it's really difficult because you're thinking we haven't been great, but that wasn't their fault. Get out there and applaud them, because they've got behind you, and I think together, players and staff and fans all together, I think we can create something special here, and that's what I intend to do.
Fantastic, thank you very much.
Gareth talks about connection with the players and stuff like that. You're going to get plenty of time to build on those connections, aren't you, in the next 2 games? Do you have anything in mind to do when you're away?
No, we do things. We have made certain changes when we've been to clubs. You know, I like the players being alone at times, you know, all being alone but in the same room together so they can all bond. You know, I remember when I played, I knew a lot about my teammates, and I'd go to the well for my teammates because I knew about their family, their friends, their histories. And if you get those bonds, they are really the things that you know you want to play for. Sometimes you're like, I'm in it with you because I know about you. And some of the best bonds you aren't football talk. It's different talks. That on the training pitch they have to do that. They're paid to do that. We're talking about connection, leadership, communication, great. But when they're off the pitch, if we can leave the players to bond and get to know each other, I think you get a real good team. You know, I'm a big fan of the military sometimes, and they really do delve deep into each other and what they, you know, what they're about, and because, you know, mistakes from their teams, and it's life-threatening. Mistakes from our team, and it's not getting 3 points in the Saturday, but I still want that same connection between the players, and I can't demand it. Hopefully it'll come and it'll organically, you know, get stronger and stronger. But there's little things we'll do, which again I keep in house, but we have little moments and development days, we call them. No, not football. It's not football. It's different stuff, and that bonds the players better. I believe, and I've always believed that will create more success on the pitch.
Because we sort of joke about the amount of distance that we have to cover being a junior, but I suppose you can work it to your own advantage if you do get players like that.
Yeah, it's great. You know, on the bus, they're a lively bunch. You know, I've been on buses before where you can't hear a pin drop, and it's not good. You know, it's trepidation, and it's sort of a little bit nervousness and not connected. On our bus, you can hear the boys laughing and cheering at the back, and you know, I haven't had a defeat yet, so I'm hoping it won't be that jovial coming home sometimes when we need to reflect. But I like them connecting, I like them being happy. I'm all about energy and positivity, and if the boys can show that while they're away together, again, I believe it gives us bigger bonds on the pitch, and the fans can be proud of us.
We were all sat here last week when you were introduced to the media. It's been a hectic first week. What's it been like as a manager?
It's been a hectic first month, shall we say, in that week. We've got so much in there. It has been, sort of a whirlwind. I will say that. You know, I've been everywhere. People won't know, but there's 2 staircases in this place, and I keep getting lost on both of those. There's so many rooms. There's so many players who look similar. And I've been calling everyone the wrong names, but we're finally getting there. Met most of the staff, And yeah, I'm finally feeling at home. You know, I do enjoy it here. You know, the being at home with my family has been important to me. You know, and a few more nights there has been great. You know, and probably staying up once a week around the Kent area, but the rest of the time getting back, and that allows me to feel comfortable in my job and do that job that much better. But yeah, it has been an absolute whirlwind. There's so many departments that want to be led or need to be led. And I want to get involved in everything. I'm a manager. I'm not just one of these head coaches that just go, give me all the players and I'll coach the players. I'm a manager who wants to manage everything and be involved in everything, because I believe that the whole identity is a reflection of me, and that's what we're going to try and get.
Have you had much discussions with Hesse and Ronnie for next season?
Yeah.
Have you had time to do that?
Yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, Hesse is in most days, you know, so we go up and again, just being able to go in the room and say morning and have 10 minutes, you know, just on things, I think it's a big advantage. Believe it or not, I played with Ronnie back in 1990s, you know, he played for Preston. I made my debut for Preston, he was the centre forward, so me and Ronnie go back a long, long way, and you know, he's got a wealth of experience in player signings and player coaching and promotions, and so great to have. You know, there's also one or two more in now, you know, young James, and so we'll get the recruitment in hand. If I'm honest, that was probably a little bit on the back burner. It was get the team sorted, let's start seeing what we've got in the building first, because everyone will have their opinions, the ex-managers will have their opinions, but it's my opinion that counts now, and if I think somebody's got a new lease of life and deserves to have a chance, then you know, I want to back myself in that decision. It's not going to be a total clean out. Sometimes it might just be a few, or it might, you know, I've got 6-7 more games to find out exactly what I've got here. So these are big moments for the boys, but yeah, working with the recruitment guys is going to be fun, and I'm sure we'll come up with some good signings for the place.
I mean, the fact that you've come in for this last month has really given everyone a bit of extra something to play for, really, haven't they?
Yeah, I hope so. You know, and you know, probably there was some discussion, or why didn't I stay at Shrewsbury for to the end of the season after the decision was made. You know, there's a couple of factors in there, you know, because, you know, which again, I wish I could go into, but obviously you're bound sometimes on what you can say. So, but getting in here with the time left gives me a brilliant period of time to have a look at the current squad. So I think that credit should go to, you know, Brad, Shannon, Joe, to make a bold move. They could have easily have gone, no, let's wait till the end of the season and make changes in that. But I think it works for me, it works for them. Certainly works for the players, because they know what they're getting now, and whether they want to be here next season, whether they're trying extra hard to be here next season, or don't want to be with me next season, we'll find out in these next few weeks. But so far, everyone has given me positive vibes, and that's great. You know, they're a good bunch of lads. They really are. I think they were just a little bit lost. And just needed that galvanised and that leading. Listen, we may get beat Saturday, we may get beat the Saturday, but we don't know. You know, we don't know how it's going to go. But over the long journey, we'll be a better club than where we are now, and I'm pretty sure of that.
And we've seen Johnny come into the team again. Jaden hasn't had many minutes. He's been back involved. Aaron Rowe is back involved. Yeah. There's a fresh chance for these people.
Yeah, and I don't go on. Listen, I never go on social media ever. I don't hardly read press, hardly. I don't even look at my own interviews most of the time. I don't even look at anything, right? So nobody gets in here. So I pick on what I see and what I feel. I think it can be corrupted, you know, and you know, I don't even know how to use social media. I won't even go on there. My daughter's always saying, stop touching that, you're liking it or something. I don't even know what I'm doing. So we just totally stay away from that, and like I say, nobody gets into me. So good posts or bad posts, I know fans will do them. I won't read them. They won't get to me. So I'll just crack on with the way I feel. And those names you mentioned, I think have had a real good lease of life since I walked in the building. You know, and I'll go on merit. I'll go on what I believe is the right thing, and it'll be my decision. And I think that's really important. So whatever's gone is gone. I always look forward what we can affect tomorrow. Never mind yesterday.
Bradley Dack, you mentioned, did he say he had a knock or something like that?
Yeah, he had a little knock. So Brad's, obviously, you know, we're very respectful that over his last few years he's had some, you know, major injuries, and to come back. Even some of them's testament to how much he loves the game and how hard he works. And again, I've not seen Bradley, for a while. I'm a Blackburn fan, so I've seen him back in the day. Obviously, I remember him there. But he's bought into what we are. We talk. Brad's obviously waiting for his chance. He needs to start training and get full training on his body, and then we'll see if he can make an impact. But no, all good. Brad's in a good place, and hopefully we can work together in these next few weeks.
Just one thing from me. Litz is back, obviously. Robbie McKenzie's had the armband of late. Is that a decision you have to make, or is it? Yeah,
probably we'll be discussing again. Litz is obviously with the captain's armband, and coming back. I thought Robbie's took it and held it responsibly and very well. And made some. I thought he was in both games. The Harry game was really tough for him. The ball was over his head most of the game. But then the other night you showed that class that he has on the ball, but then off the ball he had a specific job as well, which again, we'll keep in house. But he did it to a T. You can rely on Robbie, and that's why he was the decision while Litz was out of the squad.
What were you disappointed about Tuesday night with the goal? The fact that a foul wasn't given against Sam, or the fact that the ball got out of play?
Yeah, you can. Toss a coin there. It's. I'm the biggest defender of referees and assistant managers. They've got a tough job, but you've got to be absolutely sure, especially on a goal decision. And I think when the amount of people stop and just say it was out of play, I think it tells you something. And I think he was obscured by the goal as well, the linesman. It's a really tough job, Hopefully we'll get one back later in the season at some stage. I believe it evens itself out, but I felt for Gailey because he was having a fantastic game, and he had a fantastic game. That one moment, he probably learned from it, which is great. But we really could have away from that 1-0 would have been a justified result, I think, the way we played.
But in the aftermath to it, do you think you learned more from your players a lot quicker than you would have done?
Yeah, definitely. Going 1-0 down in both games and coming back shows character, and that sometimes you have to build, shows great character. But I believe I've learnt more. I probably underestimated the players a little bit. I've come in and thought, what, they've surprised me. I think there's some good players in this squad, and I think they've for one reason or another, I don't know, they just haven't clicked. But they certainly clicked the other night, and I was really pleased seeing that.
You've been talking about getting as one with the supporters. The little thing you did beforehand to get the Rona and Gino, was that a planned move, or?
Sorry, what was that?
The little, when you went up to the Rona before the game, when you came out, was that planned, or did you just go off the cuff?
Yeah, there's not much planning sometimes in what I do. Yeah, I was totally off the cuff. His emotions runs me a lot on the touchline. That's Dobbo. He's very planned and methodical. No, it just felt the right thing to do. It just felt like, go over there. We're going to need these fans, not just tonight, but going forward. I'm going to need this end. And lo and behold, they made a big difference at the end of the game. I thought that I would have loved to have took that penalty, in front of the Rainy Men, with all your fans there with experience and ready to go. And Max was the lucky one who stepped up, and what a feeling, So they did play their part. Yeah, you can ask Dobbo. A lot of it will be emotion-led, but I'm pretty in check with my emotions, and I think I get most of it right, So, that was great. And sorry if I missed the other sides, but I thought I'll probably need that end at some stage this season, so great.
And the end, when you went and cheered you again, from where I was sitting, I just loved the way you just immediately diverted the attention back to the players. As if to say, what about them, what a performance that was?
Yeah, and that's important, The players are the ones who are working so hard. I put a plan in place, I can ask them to do something, but that won't win the game. Players will win the game. The specific players, the team, that wins the game. They deserve that. I've played as well, which is lucky. So I always believe it's about we and us, never just one person or never just the staff. The players are on the pitch. They will do things. You can't coach every single moment. You can coach maybe 10-20% of the game. The rest of it is them. It's up to them, and they're the ones who deserve the credit when they play well like that. And if it goes bad, then maybe it's something I've said or something I've got wrong, and I'll take the hit. But when they play like that, the players were fantastic, so they deserve the plaudits on Tuesday night.
Can you believe it's only been a week?
No, I can't, honestly. It's gone so quick. It really has gone quick, and we've got a lot in, and there's plenty more to get in. Trying to talk to every player, trying to sort of scatter myself thin between everyone, but it's tough. But like I say, it's a club that just seems to have just plateaued a little bit for the last 2 years, and needs some injection of something. And it's a great club, great staff everywhere. You know, not many of us, but we're all tight, and I think it's a really good feeling, you know, when you've got that tight knit staff ready to get behind you and go right. Whether it's office staff, youth team staff, my staff, kitchen staff, they're all saying right, yeah, and I can feel it in everyone, and I want to be that person who got it right, and we'll see. Many have tried. Hopefully, I can get the solution, but time will tell.